Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Mythgard and Middle-earth. My name is Corey Olsen, the Tolkien Professor, joined as always by my friend Gryfflet, who is quite struck by the grim beauty of this scene, looking out over the Pelennor, with Minas Tirith rising up on the left, and the Orc siege works on the right, with the red glow in the sky and the falling ash. I can't say I'll be disappointed to see the sun again, but as it's been now quite some time that Gryfflet has been exploring in the Dawnless day, but it is rather beautiful, actually, and I love how they have captured this. Anyway, it's time to get back to work here. I've been away for a couple weeks. Glad to be back. Gryfflet is eager to set his hand to tasks down here at the south gate of the Pelennor, having completed his excellent work up here in Talath Anor and the northern half of the Pelennor, and then traveled back around it. So we'll be down in the Harlond again, I assume, and then up through. There's a whole bunch of camps and stuff that I couldn't help but notice as I traveled down here in the southern half of the Pelennor. So we will see how many quests our friend Turgon down here on the south gate has. I'm assuming it's going to take us about as long as it did up at the north gate, and then we'll be back into the center of Minas Tirith. So. All right. I have no real idea how many quests there are in Minas Tirith and how long the Minas Tirith process is liable to take. In my head, it's enormous. In my head, it's like, I'll assume that it's functionally infinite. But we'll see. We'll see. Looking forward to it. Excellent. Okay. Turgon, what have you got for me?
When the time comes to fight, we'll be ready.
I would be thankful if you were to lend a hand here at the south gate. My men and I have been busy protecting the Rammas from the orcs gathered in Harlond. Alas, we have not yet been able to turn our attention upon the newly gathered forces in Pelennor fields. So I'm going to be focused more in than out on your side of the field, is what you're telling me, Turgon?
It's the first time in Minas Tirith.
I am hoping you
see it in better days.
Right. I am hoping you have a moment to assist me. I have too few men to turn their attention to every problem arising on the southern Pelennor. I have just gotten word that not everyone has been evacuated from the farms in Pelennor. It seems there is one farmer, a very old and stubborn man, who refuses to leave one of the nearby farms. You must convince him to retreat to Minas Tirith. It is too dangerous now to risk a trip past Harlond to Imloth Melui. Right. The stubborn farmer. Okay. That's it. Just that one. The only thing you need me to do, Turgon, is just convince a farmer. Where is our farmer? Where is he? Oh, he's right there in the farmland. Almost like one could have guessed that. Okay, no problem. Let us go up to the farmland and see if we can find this new to me, old farmer here. So we've got wargs and scouts, Haradrim scouts down here. In the bushes and didn't realize I was in the water. Okay, some stray warg riders. Lots of flies. That's kind of interesting. that sense, and they're blight flies, right? That sense of, I mean, I kind of like that thematically. I mean, it's annoying because I dislike clouds of flies, but it's, I like it thematically because it provides this implication, right? That blight, this land is still green and thriving, but blight has come, right? As the armies of Mordor move across, it's not just that, you know, the soldiers are coming and are going to kill everybody. That's a problem, but it's more than that, right? That the blight of Sauron is coming upon the land, and it's like this, the many swarms of blight flies around the Pelennor are the, you know, sort of the first wave of that. Hey there, Talfadon, do you notice you're the only one here? Are you going to set me like 8 quests or something?
Mordor will regret challenging the walls of Minas Tirith.
What's that? I'm not leaving this farm. I've been farming here since before you were born. You'll have to drag me out of here, I tell you. The farmer calms down a little after you explain the grave danger he's in. Well, I don't see anything off in the distance. You don't see the, like, the red cloud of doom or the ashfall or anything? You do seem like you're telling the truth, though. Tell you what, if you help me finish my work, I knew it, then maybe I'll think about heading over to the White City. That's correct. Help me finish putting away my tools, then we'll talk. Sorry, I know I'm drifting towards Gleowine. No, I'm not going to go the full Gleowine. I've already made a judgment call on when that particular accent is next to come out. Okay. Collect your tools. Okay. If you're a grumpy old farmer, surely, like, you don't leave your tools lying around in the field, right? Isn't that like what those kids nowadays are always doing? Where are they? Your tools. Oh. Look at that. You just leave your hoe lying about here? Are they actually going to be like 9 separate tools? Or no, he's just got a whole mess of hoes. Though I guess they're fairly obvious reason why they couldn't call this quest an old farmer and his hoes. I suppose. Anyway. No, this is not a long-lost relation of Gleowine and Durin. I was just doing my old man, and it started to leak into Gleowine, but, you know. Oh, hang on. I found a hoe. They're all hoes. Nothing but hoes. Ironically, they're all called hoes, but they're not really hoes. That is, right? I mean, hang on. I'll look at the next one more closely. But, unless I am quite mistaken, that is a rake. It's not a hoe. Uh-oh. Lagging. What? Hey, does it have teeth? Hey, that's a rake. That's not a hoe. Trustnik is suggesting in which Gryfflet picks up hoes as the title of this episode. Hard to do better. Hard to do worse also, but hard to do better. I don't know if the stream is stuttering, like that is, I don't know if I'm stuttering more than usual or not, but I was experiencing some lag just there. All right, let's see how many more hoes. This farmer has a lot of hoes. Ash is falling on the Pelennor field, and It's just him and his hose. Alright, there don't seem to be any actually out in the middle of the field. I'm glad I'm not having to, like, ambush orcs in the fields or something. Come on now. Okay. All right. So, while I continue my search for hose, let me queue up a more question. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. JJ, I'm going to get one of your questions from before. All right. JJ quotes The Hobbit, speaking about riddles with Gollum. Asking them, and sometimes guessing them, had been the only game he had ever played with other funny creatures sitting in their holes in the long, long ago, before he lost all his friends and was driven away alone and crept down, down into the dark under the mountains. Would that be Bilbo's beliefs of the origins of Gollum? Perhaps what Gandalf thought too. Hang on a second, JJ. Darn it! I don't have my copy of the annotated Hobbit. Where's my copy of the annotated Hobbit? Sorry, I was doing some renovation in my office, and some of my books are still in the other room, and I think the annotated Hobbit must be there. I was going to grab it. What I wanted to check, JJ, before I answered that question, or as I'm answering that question, I wanted to double check that sentence, before he lost all his friends and was driven away alone and crept down, down into the dark under the mountains. If that was in the original, if that was in the first edition of The Hobbit or not. Because I have a kind of notion that it wasn't. And I'm not sure about that. Yeah, so I wanted to check on that. Because, yes, it does seem that Bilbo and, Gandalf's initial theory about Gollum and Gollum's origins is just that he's some... I mean, there are lots of strange creatures under the mountain, Oh, and of course there's one in the middle of the field. Oh, wait, it's not in the middle of the field. On the edge of the field. Yeah, anyway, so yeah, so that's the one thing that I'm trying to remember, JJ, and I can't remember it, and I can't look it up, because I don't have my book. Do I have History of the Hobbit? I do. Be harder if I did that, though. At least while on stream, lest I treat you all to the marvelous entertainment of, like, watching me, like, read. Uh-oh. One more tool. One hoe to rule them. No, it's a shovel. Hey. Get over here. They're just in that aerobic frame of mind, like the Corsairs. Come here. Ah, finally. Yikes. Okay. Where'd he go? So yeah, I would want to double check that. If that passage about losing his friends and coming and crawling, creeping down under the mountain, is in the first draft, then it shows that Bilbo's original theory was that he's not a native to the mountains, that he is someone from outside. He's someone from outside who came to the mountains. And in other words, one of the things that we can see in that passage is that we're being prompted to pity for Gollum, right? He's being described in ways which are, he's made more scary, he is made more monstrous in the revision. One of the things, this was one of the coolest things Sparrow Alden did in her blog, Words That You Were Saying, in her analysis of word usage in The Hobbit. And this was part of her master's thesis at Signum years ago. She was looking at the differences between the original first draft of The Hobbit and the later revision of The Hobbit, Chapter 5. And she was pointing out that one of the major, most consistent differences when Tolkien went back and revised, what he did was he added to the hissing of Gollum. That is, he increased his sibilance. He made him sound more creepy and less human and more monstrous, by adding all of those, like, and all of that kind of thing. So anyway, yeah, it's, but that passage that you quoted, JJ, about losing all of his friends until creeping down and living alone under the mountain, it's very sad and it's very moving, and it stands out very much in that section where Gollum is being called darker than the darkness, and he's quite wicked. He is described more wickedly, like he's as being like, wickedness is a more distinctive characteristic of Gollum's in the later edition. But that passage is prompted for pity, prompts us to feel pity for him, and sets up Bilbo's pity later on, directly sets it up. Like, that's what he thinks about, losing your friends and living alone and what it would do to you. So we get a little foretaste of Bilbo's pity in that earlier section there. And so anyway, that's why I would want to confirm. I think that passage is new. I might be wrong, but I think that is not in the original, in which case, if that passage about him coming in and losing his friends and going down, if that is part of the original chapter 1, then it shows that was Bilbo's original idea. But if it's not, then it suggests that Bilbo thought he was just a native of, there are lots of strange creatures that live deep under the ground, and Gollum was one of them, and had other funny friends who lived down there. So yeah, it all kind of depends on that passage and when it was added in. If it was added in later, then it's part of the true story. That is, that it reflects what was learned about Gollum later on, and does project Bilbo's later insight of pity back into the beginning of their encounter. But if it was there originally, then it does show that Bilbo, and therefore Gandalf, would always have suspected that Gollum came not from the mountains, but from somewhere else. Okay.
Mordor will regret challenging the walls of Minas Tirith.
What took you so long? Did you step on a rake? No, so you knew they were rakes in the first place. Were they all just mislabeled hoes to make them harder to find? You ask Talfadon if he saw the Haradrim that just tried to attack the farm. Oh, so that was what was going on there. I suppose that isn't a good thing. having the farm attacked at all. Back when I was a boy, no one ever attacked this farm. What's this land coming to? Kids these days, building armies, attacking the city. All right, I hate to say this, but you've convinced me that I should head over to the White City. There's one last thing that needs to be done. My sheep are out grazing, and I can't leave them there. I would never forgive myself if some ruffians got to them. Will you go get my sheep and bring them back to the farm so that I may herd them to the city? Okay, Talsvedon. Sure. Understood. I wouldn't want to leave my sheep to the Haradrim either. Alright, which direction are we? Oh, look at that. I was instinctively going in the correct direction for sheep. This is obviously the only sensible direction anyone would leave their sheep. Oh. Hark. Wait. Orcs trying to climb the mountain? Wait, no, not Morgul lookouts. Morgul scouts. Alright. Alright, sheep. Head back. Are they gonna it would have been even funnier if they were following me. And I would, like, do the whole rest of this quest with, like, a train of sheep following along behind. But, who am I kidding? Sheep are not that obedient. The little buying is pretty cute. Oops. I was hoping I could get the sheep without actually attracting the flies. Okay. And then there's one more sheep. Okay. Alright. Now, orcs climbing? What's the story there? They're down here? Morgul scouts. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, I see you. Okay. No, you're just not climbing so much as standing and staring at the cliff, huh? That's fine. Okay. All right. Edith had asked the question. Edith Aldora. Gollum presumably never claims the ring the way Frodo did at Mount Doom. What was it about claiming it that alerted Sauron to its location? This is a really interesting question, and it's one of those things that I'm still trying to understand, or I'm not 100% sure that. So I make a distinction here, and I think it's a valid or a significant distinction in the text, but I'm less than 100% sure about that, and so it's one of the things that I'm still kind of exploring as I'm thinking about the Lord of the Rings, and it's certainly one of the things that I will be very interested to think and talk about more. As I'm working on my book, for instance. So what I'm talking about is the distinction between being a ring bearer, that is like being in possession of the ring, and claiming the ring. Oh, these scouts are just walking up from a distance and then just coming and standing there. Honestly, they're not doing much harm. I mean, anyway, okay, so yeah, I think I'll speak with Talfadon. Okay, great. but as I say, I think that this is an important distinction. So let me... who is it? Edith is pointing to the scene which most strongly suggests this distinction in my mind, and that is the moment when Frodo claims the ring. Frodo claims the ring at the Cracks of Doom, right? The ring is mine. You know, he will not do this deed. The ring is mine. The moment of Frodo's failure, when he does not throw the ring into the Cracks of Doom, but instead claims it for himself. His relationship with the ring seems fundamentally to change in that moment. And what's more, as Edith points out, that's the moment when Sauron is suddenly aware of him, right? Like, something flips the switch in that moment. Sauron was not... a lot of readers or film viewers seem to operate under the assumption that both Sauron and even the ring wraiths also have some kind of ring detector, like some kind of, ring radar, and can sense when it is near. It's clearly not that simple. And this scene illustrates that very clearly. It hasn't changed in proximity or anything, but now all of a sudden Sauron is aware of it. Something seems to have changed that triggers Sauron's awareness. Another passage which suggests this difference between bearing the ring and claiming the ring is Sam. Is Sam when he is just about to cross? He's on the borders of Mordor and he's having his ring-induced monologue, right? He's already carrying the ring, and the ring is inviting him to claim it, right? To what he could do if he took the ring for himself. And even Sam in that moment has a sort of an instinct that Sauron would detect him as soon as he did. And it's one of the reasons why he doesn't claim the ring for himself. But the fact that he's holding it and experiencing that temptation, also like the movement of Frodo's hand as he's in like delirium, like what he is resisting, the torment that he is under as Sam is conveying him across Gorgoroth towards Mount Doom, is the temptation to claim the ring for himself. That's why he says it's all that he can see, right? The Wheel of Fire. So I think that there's definitely a difference between claiming it and just carrying it. So what is it exactly about claiming it that alerts Sauron? Can't really be sure, but I have some theories. But let's talk to Talfadon here.
Every minute feels like hours.
It's about time. I might have been able to do that faster myself. You should have done. You got spirit, though, that's for sure. I'll be on my way to the White City now. Okay, good. Off you go. Toddle back to Gondor, and now I will... To Gondor. You're already in Gondor. To Minas Tirith. And I will go back to Turgon. So what is it about claiming the ring? I believe that what it is about claiming the ring, my theory, remember that the power of the ring is Sauron's power. He put a part of himself into the ring. And... That wasn't very fair. I didn't get my full jump in. He put part of himself, part of his own power into the ring. And so the reason that it is so dangerous to use the ring, not impossible as the movie says, but dangerous to use the ring, is that you are literally using Sauron's own power against him. Now that makes Sauron legitimately vulnerable. The big danger of the ring is not that it doesn't work, but that it would. You could use, many people could use the power of Sauron against him and overthrow him with it. It would work. but it's not a great idea. So, and in any case, the point is, when you claim the ring and you take that power for yourself, it seems that Sauron can sense that, right? Not merely the presence of the ring, right? He's not just getting some kind of like, Geiger counter clicking when the ring gets closer or something like that. But he does seem to be fully and immediately aware when Frodo claims the ring at the Cracks of Doom. Yeah. Now, Phil, I'll come back to that point about Gollum in just a second. Let's talk to Turgon.
Is this your first time in Minas Tirith? Shame you couldn't see it in better days.
Gryfflet, that sounds like quite the endeavor to get that one man to safety. I'm sorry to put you through that trial. It was a lot of hose. Well, now that Pelennor is clear of men, we can turn our attention to the offensive. Okay. I thought you might have other tasks for me, after all. All right, what do you have?
We can only hope that the Rohirrim will arrive before it's too late.
Captains of the enemy roam between enemy camps and Pelennor fields. I need to call upon your expert skills to defeat these leaders. So just hunt down named dudes? Okay. Their defeat will cause much disorder. All right. Borgul, Vordugur, and Yagai. Shall do. Okay. What else you got for me, Turgon?
We can only hope that the Rohirrim will arrive before it's too late.
The enemy has captured the best vantage point on the Pelennor, the hillock. Haradrim have turned the hill into a mighty encampment. I suspect they will use the vantage point to command troops in battle. Please go to the hillock and defeat enemies there to disrupt their plans. Probably some landscape quests when I get there. Okay. The hillock, huh? That I believe to be a quote from the text. If I'm remembering correctly, I bet you that is the vantage point from which Éomer is going to be making his last stand, and from which he's going to see the ships pull into the Harlond, right? What's my rep like with the Defenders of Minas Tirith, Phil? Let's see. Defenders of Minas Tirith. I am within spitting distance of friend. What is it? Ally? Ally comes after acquaintance, ally, friend, kin. Is that how it goes? Kindred? Anyway, yeah. I'm pretty close to ally. Am I going to need that? Okay, so... Oh, the hillock is up there. Okay, so I'll have to hunt down the captains. I wonder if I'll get landscape quests on the way to those. I need friend to be able to pick up the dailies. Okay, well, I'll presumably get... Well, we'll see how I do after I do his basic quest, and then maybe he'll give me the dailies. Alright. So I go this way till I get to the burned out camp. Alright, anyway, so back to what is it about claiming the ring? Oh, back to Gollum. That was what I was getting to. I talked about claiming the ring. Alright, so Gollum. Yeah, I do want to do the dailies once if I can. Completionist and all. Alright, this must be the Haradrim camp. Or a Haradrim camp. No, this looks like an Orc camp. Alright, who am I looking for here? Excuse me, could you take me to your... Oh, who's the dark blue dude? Oh, it's just a troll. Okay. Gollum. So, the question is, surely Gollum had claimed the ring, right? I mean, Gollum is claiming the ring constantly, right? I mean, if Gollum hasn't claimed the ring, nobody ever did, right? And I think that is so. Okay, we're still getting there. Working our way towards where our leader lives. Yes, he did. So why wasn't Sauron immediately aware of him? Proximity. And I know that sounds like a contradiction of what I just said. It's confusing. It is clear that the power of the ring grows the closer it gets, not to Sauron personally, necessarily, but to Barad-dûr, to the Cracks of Doom, to the place where it was forged. Distance matters. The Witch King and the Ringwraiths are much stronger and more powerful when they are closer to Mordor. They are, well, I was going to say a shadow of themselves, but that would be ironic. When we meet them, you know, in the Shire and in Breeland, but they're much, much more powerful when we get to. They're much more powerful when we meet them, even in Gondor, like in the Battle of Pelennor Field, and the ring itself grows. The power of the ring grows. There are many references to this. Would Sauron have been aware of the ring had Gollum brought it? Like, so had Gollum left the mountains with the ring, not that he would have done, but had he done so, would Sauron have been aware of him and the ring? Yes, 100%. Absolutely he would have done. He would have been. What is the problem here? Why can I not find around this quest ring? Hey guys, I'm looking for Borgul, Vordugur, or Yagai. Can anybody give me directions or something? I'm right by the quest ring. Did they set fire to him in this bonfire, which seems to be at the center of that quest ring? Yeah, I don't even see any. I mean, I would normally look for them inside of, like, large tents, but there aren't even any large tents other than like that. Huh. Okay, hang on. So, I guess he's not here. Right, I see. I've got 3 dudes and 6 quest rings, plus that weird area that I just completely searched and there was nothing. So I guess I'll just go to the next one, which is on the hillock anyway. So it, right, Phil says each of those named dudes is at 2 places. Okay. Look, I don't want to seem ungrateful because, like, I am super grateful for quest rings in general. But it's a little hard. Look at me. I'm not even stopping to loot. I am, like, laser focused. Let's go up on the hill. Yeah, so now here's another interesting question. Did Isildur ever claim the ring? Really claim the ring? And I don't know. I don't know that he did. I don't think he did, actually. Well, see, it depends. This seems to me to be... What is that mounted scout doing walking through the camp? I think that this is one of the things. So, like, when he says in the letter that Gandalf reads, that the ring shall go to become an heirloom, of the North Kingdom. Can I get into this tent? Excuse me, Haradrim sorcerer. Can I? No, I can't get into your tent. Huh? Sorry, pardon me. Gryfflet having a good stealth day, by the way. When he says I'm gonna oh, I'm not even there. I mean, I'm on the hillock, but I'm not. So I should, in theory, be defeating Haradrim here. Actually, is what I'm thinking, right? Let me just find the leaders first, and then I'll come back and kill folks if that's what needs to happen. Yeah. So I'm when he says I'm going to take it back to be an heirloom, I'm not sure that he's not still in the like bearer category rather than claimer category. That is, he does not express any desire to use it. He's being influenced by it clearly. He uses the word precious, which is a pretty big red flag, right? It's become precious to him, and he can't bear the thought of harm coming to it. But remember, that was true of Frodo back in his living room, right? Back in the parlor of Bag End. He had certainly not claimed it at that time. All right, half-troll cleaver. I think probably inside this tent? No? Anyway, so I think that it is not at all clear that Isildur had claimed the ring. Not even when he puts it on to escape and is killed. Bilbo put it on to escape, dozens of times. Hey, hang on a second. Where did you get that sash? Did you kill a Corsair for that? No, though it's a patterned sash. It's much fancier than the Corsair sashes. It really doesn't fit. I mean, the rest of your ensemble, apart from the fact that you're mostly naked on top, which fits with the whole, Corsair sash thing. You're not even attempting. I mean, no other bright colors of any kind. Just, scale mail and leather. And then your sash. I think you must have taken it off a Corsair's body. It's possible that he swapped it with a friendly Corsair. I can't rule that out. You're right. I was kind of hoping when I killed him I would get a quest to, find the Corsair and return his sash to him. Okay. So, my quest ring is suggesting to me that he is in this tent, but he's not in this tent. Okay. So I've now been, I think, I've only been to 2 sites, and I'm 0 for 2. Fine. We'll keep looking. I mean, presumably, I have to find one of them by the time I get to the 4th ring, right? Okay, presumably in this big Haradrim tent. Aha! I thought so. Okay, when I fight you, do they count towards my... Oh, they do count. They are officially on the hillock. Alright, when I fight you, these guys are going to wake up and attack me. So why don't I start by taking out them? Okay. Or I could just fight all of you at once. I reckon. Okay. Not bad. Others will take my place. Okay. Well, that can be arranged, I suppose. Okay. And those all count for... No, they didn't. Only him, but the other guys don't count. So, oh, he's counts as one of the ones on the hillock because he sometimes is up on the hillock. Gotcha. Okay. I understand. That's a cunning that's a cunning distinction. Okay. Let's see. Oh man, Hologro, I can only imagine. Hologro says, at least I'm doing this right after the region was released. I'm not doing this right after the region was released, and we were all out here at the same time waiting for respawns. Yes, yes, that kind of situation is a challenge to my reservoir of charity. I have to admit, it is in those moments that I find myself grumbling and saying, "Did they have to make this game an MMO?" But yeah. So I am duly thankful. And by the way, I mean it's one reason why I rarely rush to new areas. Okay. Let's see. Is there a guy in here? This looks like a boss kind of tent. Nothing, huh? Nothing at all. It looks like this is the spot, though. Alright. I have now found 3 empty spots. So that means the other 2 must be at these other 2 locations. Who's this? Shug, huh? Oh, thank you. Big enormous trolls with glowing shields circling them. Oh, hang on. Okay, must be this tent here. Let's see. Excuse me, have you guys seen Burgul or Vorgudur? No, alright, this is beyond a joke. Who is he? He's not here either. Oh, for a second I thought it was going to be him hiding out in the back, and I was going to laugh. Oh, we're getting close to the 300th episode of Gryfflet. How many are we at now? Drowsnake, I haven't been keeping track. Man, where... Look, I shouldn't be ungrateful. I am suitably grateful that Gryfflet has the ability to just stealth his way through these camps and not have to, like, be fighting everybody in the whole camp every time I come through. Looking... Oh, hang on. Vorgudur, is that you? Borgul! It's you! Okay. I think... Oh, man. Am I going to draw the stone heaver? Right here. Okay. I just drew this little fella. Okay, that's what I don't like about being backed into a corner. Oh, that's alright. Okay. Oh yeah, I think we're gonna be fine. Okay, so this is 297. Really, we're that close. Episode 297 of Gryfflet's Adventures. Man. And it was, the date of the first one was 2016, wasn't it? Spring of 2016? Coming up on our 7-year anniversary. Oh, man. Okay. All right. That should narrow it. Hey. But I already checked over there. Okay. Well, let us... I wonder about the troll dancing. I kind of do, have to admit. Mumak. Can I take him? I can take him. Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, oh, each of the three has 2 alternate locations. I know, but the problem is I've already searched these other 2. Maybe I caught him in transit. Yeah, that's probably it. All right, so I'll come back up here then and defeat my other 8 Haradrim on the hillock. On the way through. And then I'll take care of what's his face, Vordugur. Okay. Meanwhile, I'll get another lore question. Let's see. Oh, come on. Oh, you're back, but this time with a magenta scarf? Huh? A sash, I mean? Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah, my war question. Let's see. Okay, Schmooze was asking, do we ever get any answer? What happened to the Entwives? Nobody ever likes my answer. No one ever likes either of my answers, because there are 2 possible answers to this question. Answer number 1 is, I don't know. And I don't mean that I don't know. I mean, that was Tolkien's answer to that question, was I don't know. And nobody likes that answer. Nobody liked that answer when Tolkien gave it either. But the bad news is that people like the other answer even less. And that is that they're dead. Those are the only 2 answers Tolkien ever gave about this question. He didn't say definitively that they were dead. He said he thought they were probably dead. And he said he didn't know. But yeah, so I say nobody ever likes those answers. Everybody wants the Entwives to still be alive. Everybody wants a happy ending to the Ent and Entwife story. But honestly, that's kind of not how Tolkien rolls. There's real loss. The damage that was done by Sauron when Sauron came and destroyed the Brownlands can't be undone. The destruction is real and permanent within this world. Now, Tolkien does give the Ents and Entwives a happy ending, or at least he hints at a happy ending. I'm going to reward myself with a backpack for killing my 10 Haradrim. Tolkien does hint at a happy ending. In the song, right? In the Ent and Entwife song, the elf song that Treebeard sings. But it's a post-apocalyptic. Not just post-apocalyptic. It's an other world. They're going to meet in paradise. They're going to meet after the end of the world. When I say post-apocalyptic, I don't mean after the nuclear fallout. I mean after the apocalypse, like after Revelation, the book of Revelation, after the end of the world. That's not what the word apocalypse means in the New Testament, of course. The word apocalypse just means revelation. It's the name, it's the title of the book. And only by accident has come to be associated with the end of the world. The word apocalypse just means a revelation, a disclosing, an uncovering. But anyway, this looks like a likely spot. Indeed, it's where the quest ring is. And is he still not there? Still not here. Lots of trolls. Nobody else. Not skulking around the back. Not hiding around the side. Simply not here. So we will look for him wandering around this vague area. Maybe Vortigor is stealthed. Maybe this is a stealth versus stealth situation. But anyway, the end of Treebeard's song. One of the things that I find that people most persistently misunderstand about that song, about the Ent song, the Ent and Entwife song. Of course, it is talking about seasons, right? It takes place, you've got they each sing about the spring, and they each sing about the summer. Oh, there he is. They each sing about the spring, and then the summer, and then they sing about the winter. But it is not. This is not just a seasonal situation. The winter that they're singing about, the song really changes when it gets to winter. And winter is the end of the when winter comes, the winter wild that wood and hill shall slay. The very hills are being destroyed in this winter. It's talking about the starless night devour the sunless day. It's the end of all things that Treebeard is talking about. And when that happens, when that winter, that final and ultimate winter comes, and all things come to an end, and the stars themselves are consumed and destroyed, then is when the Ents and Entwives shall find a land where both their hearts may rest. The clear implication of this song is that it's not going to be until they've all died, the Ents and the Entwives, and all things, that it's likely to be in Arda remade. It's possible that they would be reunited after death in Valinor or Tolaresia or something. I can't rule that out. Like after their individual deaths. But I think the land where both their hearts may rest is probably in Arda remade after the end of the world. As I say, nobody likes this answer. Everybody wants to think that there are still Entwives somewhere, and that they will be discovered, and there will be a beautiful reunion of Treebeard and Fimbrethel, and they will live happily ever after. Tolkien doesn't tell that kind of story, almost ever. But anyway. Okay. Yeah. So, as I say, nobody likes that answer, but I think that's the answer. Okay.
Is this your first time in Minas Tirith?
No problem. Finding them was non-trivial, Turgon.
Can only hope that the Rohirrim will
Your
arrive
efficiency is
before it's too
exemplary.
late.
Well, I don't know about that. The Haradrim will remember this day, so we must be on guard if they decide to retaliate. I am sure it will take some time for them to recover from the damage you caused. Probably so. All right, what you got next? How's my rep coming, Phil? Let's see. Slowly. Well, I gained about 1,000 there, right? So I need basically 3 quests to... Oops.
We can only hope that the Rohirrim will
Hey, wait.
arrive
This is a
before it's too
repeatable.
late.
Orcs are everywhere in the Pelennor. Their numbers are vast. Kill a bunch. Okay. Right, got it.
Is this your first time in Minas
The
Tirith?
Morgul forces occupying
Shame
Harlond
you
have
couldn't
breached the
see it
southern
in
Ramas.
better
We must hold them
days.
back. Yeah, sure. Defend the southern Ramas. Is that an instance, Turgon? No? Defend the southern Ramas? Okay. What does that entail exactly? Hey guys, we're defending the southern Ramas. You with me? Oh, I just entered Lasarnach, did I? So I did. Maybe I go up on the wall? I'm sorry, do I have to go to the gap? Which gap? Up there? That gap? Okay. Alright, this gap over here. Defend the gap for 3 minutes, huh? Okay. This gap here. I got confused when I, like, left the map. Here? Okay. Hey. Okay. We can hold the gap. I'll go into, like, mini guardian mode and... Alright. Don't leave it unguarded. Okay, so I don't even have to keep them coming through. I just have to stand here, huh? For 3 minutes. I forgot that this was the gap the chickens used. Hey! I guess that's the problem of being stealth. They don't even notice you. Fortunately, that did not seem to abrogate the quest. My ticker is still going here. Under 2 minutes. Okay. If they're only coming through like 2 at a time, I don't really have to be too worried. I don't even think I need to stealth. I mean, not stealth, just to prevent any mishaps. Okay. Oh, I see, Hologro. So you were always worried about somebody doing this quest when the chickens were coming through? Yeah, I see. So this gap was always open unless somebody happened to be in the middle of this quest. Okay. No problem. 45 more seconds. Boy, it's hard not to stealth myself. I keep, like, reflexively going to hit stealth. No problem. Gosh, this gap didn't seem all that urgent. There's already hundreds of orcs in there, and only 6 were coming in. Okay. I think it's the intimidation factor. Gryfflet is extremely intimidating, especially now that he's not stealth. They don't even dare approach. Alright, you've got a few seconds left to attack me, orcs. Too scared, huh? Okay. No problem.
Is this your first time in Minas Tirith?
Yeah, took care of that.
Shame you couldn't see it in better days.
How much rep am I getting? I'm getting 700, actually. Okay. The Ramus is safe for now. I will send some of my men to protect the break in the wall and start repairs as soon as we are able. Thank you for your assistance. Hey, no problem. I appreciate it. Ah. Oh, what else you got?
We can only hope that the Rohirrim will arrive.
Trolls
before it's
lumber
too late.
across the fields. I fear I am no match. I fought my fair share of orcs, but have yet to encounter a troll on my own. You are not inexperienced like I am. You have fought many beasts and have lived to tell the tale. I am sure you would be able to take on many of the trolls that lurk in the Pelennor. Okay. Hunt trolls. Hunt trolls. And what was the other thing? Orcs. Hunt orcs. Okay. Hunting orcs and trolls. Well, those aren't the most glamorous of quests, but let's see. What? So apparently, we think they're liable to be trolls right here. Like, this patch of ground I'm on is like lousy with trolls, according to the map. That's all right. We'll see what we can do. We'll head over here to this here camp nearby. Hang on. We'll ride the horse over there. Okay. We'll get carry-on. We'll head over. Yeah, we'll find enough in that camp. I know where all the orcs and trolls live now. Okay. Okay, let me get another lore question and we'll start hunting here. Okay. Alright. Tomas had asked before. We get descriptions of several walled cities and towers in The Lord of the Rings, but no castles are ever mentioned, which sounds a little strange for a fantasy epic. My take is that The Lord of the Rings is a setup in a late antiquity / early medieval type of period, a world with a collapsing Roman Empire and plenty of barbaric invaders prior to the full implementation of the feudal system typical of the High Middle Ages, which seems a prerequisite for the building of castles. Tomas, I believe you are correct. Tolkien's own medieval studies and, you know, the works and stories that he loved best all tend to be early medieval stuff. Oh, sorry, I don't want my stealth to kick in. All tend to be early medieval stories. It is true that castles, as you know, as most people imagine medieval castles, it's not only that they are a later medieval thing. The other thing I would point out is that they're politically speaking. So, like, the greatest castles in England, where were they built, by whom, and why? And the answers are generally by the Norman invaders or the Norman nobility in order to suppress the local population, right? This, of course, is perhaps most dramatically evidenced in Wales. The towers that Edward II built in Wales are gorgeous. They're some of my favorite castles. Caernarfon, Caerphilly, Harlech, Beaumaris, marvelous castles. I spent a delightful week touring these castles. But they're every single one of them built for the purpose, because, the Norman English were occupying Wales, and they needed to keep the local population down, and that's the purpose of those castles. So there isn't a need for that kind of castle in a lot of places here. It's not the kind of castle that we see in The Lord of the Rings. The Gondorians didn't build castles of that kind. Lots of towers. Tolkien loved towers. But very few castles per se. There are walled cities. There are fortified cities like Minas Tirith. There are. Let's see. Oh, you guys are dancing together so beautifully. I don't really want to. Let's see. Could I get you guys? No, this is a whole nest of trolls. How many of them can I draw at once? Let's see. If I do this, let's see. What happens if I do this? You'll start throwing stuff back at me. Okay. I successfully drew you by yourself. That was fun. Okay. I doubt I can get you by yourself, but I could try. Nope. Okay. Yikes. Enough with that. At least my back is against something now, so I can't be knocked back any further. There we go. Little stunning action. That helps. Hey, look at that. Okay, so the answer to how many trolls can Gryfflet kill at once is at least 2. Oh, come on. I've been walking around you all afternoon, and now you detect me? Just when I'm creeping up on you to... Get a little positional advantage. How many was that? 5? Stop facing me. He keeps hammering, but he turns to face me. Okay. Okay. Excellent. So that's 6, and this guy will be 7. Great. Alright, one more troll. Let's see if I can find one on his lonesome. How many orcs are we doing? 8 orcs, huh? Okay. Yeah, I think I can get this guy by himself. Oh. Oh, Vorduger, you're down here now, huh? Just where you were not before? Now you're here so that I might, like, draw a boss with that troll? Well, you have protected that troll's life. Let me go up on top of the hill here. I think there were some lonely trolls up here. Not to mention lonely backpacks. Weren't there lonely trolls up here? I was sure I remembered that. Maybe it's the lonely backpacks I was remembering. All these empty fires. Aha! I knew it! Okay. Oh, nice. Yes, I have defeated many trolls. And how much rep do I get? 500? I've got to be close now. Oh, yeah, look at that. What am I at? I am 100 shy. As soon as I get the orcs, I'll be done. All right. Oh, it's a warg. Oops. Well, a little extracurricular action here, Gryfflet. He was hiding in the pile of logs there. I didn't see. Okay. A couple Uruk-hai warriors. Do you count? Making sure I... Well, we're doing this. I don't think they did count. You guys all count. All right, here we go. Let's do them all at once. Won't that be fun? See, now I know how that trick works. I'm loving it. Okay, now just this captain. Not in my line of sight. What was I? Because I was inside the tent there? Alright. That was progress. 13. Alright. Almost done now. Okay, don't mind if I do with the little backpack here. And just the one more. Well, fine, I'll attack the captain here. Since he's nice and handy. Okay. Done and done. Orcs and Trolls. The hunt is complete. Allied to Minas Tirith. Ta-da! Why will that give me more quests inside Minas Tirith? Is the daily quests you're referring to, are those the ones that are inside the city? Am I done with Turgon? It's not sending me back to Turgon. That was it? That was way simpler than, you know, the North Gate. Whoa, look, I'm in stealth mode on the back of my horse. Look at that. That's never happened before. Whoa. Look at that. Ghost Rider, indeed. I've never seen that, ever. Oh man, how many times would I have wanted this? To be able to summon my horse without getting out of stealth? Okay, now hang on, he does have something here. Glad I came back. Okay, Turgon, I finished. You gonna give me a vector back to the city, or what? Dredging a path for Aragorn, huh?
Is this your first time in Minas Tirith?
You trust Turgon, and decide to share with him your knowledge of Aragorn's ships en route from Pelargir. This is indeed good news. The number of men under the command of Thorongil will certainly turn the battle in our favor. Seriously, you think Turgon's not going to tell anybody? I have a plan to attack those that... We're going to ruin, like, the catastrophic surprise. I have a plan to attack those orcs in Harlond so that we may win this battle. It will require your expertise in combat. Okay. I thought you might not be finished, Turgon. Okay. Repeatable quest that you have never completed. Alright. A path for Aragorn, orcs. Captains, siege, trolls, and tents. Okay. Oh, I see. Drosnik says the last quest in the chain is to kill Turgon to keep the secret. Right. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Well. Oh. These are instance quests. I got half an hour. Let's see if we can do it. Where am I? I'm in Harlond, right? Okay. Great. I recognize that rubble heap, being a fine connoisseur of rubble heaps. So... okay. What am I supposed to do? Alright, so here I am in the Harlond. It doesn't tell me anything. It just says... Oh. Well, hang on a second. So, do I not have the quest? Alright, I'll just leave the instance. Well, that's dumb. That's silly. Okay, so all right. I have to pick
This
them
is
up
your first time
individually.
in Minas Tirith.
Now, there are two
Shame you
captains,
couldn't see it in better days.
Nardaga and Krumab. Let's hope they're easier to find. And I've got orcs.
We
I've
can
got to
only
kill
hope
12
that the
orcs.
Rohirrim will arrive
And
before
I've
it's
got
too late. Is
siege.
this your first time in Minas
Ah,
Tirith?
one of my specialities.
Shame you couldn't
Destroy
see it in
siege
better days.
engines. An artifact already
We
practiced
can
in the
only
Harlond,
hope
as I
that the
recall.
Rohirrim will arrive before it's
Destroy
too late.
tents, another of my specialities.
When the time comes
And
to fight,
6 more trolls.
we'll be ready.
Fine. Okay. All right, now I'm ready. Now I'm ready. Got it. Okay. Now here we go. Oh, look. Hark. Yeah, come on. Away from those trolls. There we go. I'm a real challenge, am I? Oh, man, you have no idea. Okay. Well, that was auspicious. The instant captains certainly did prove easier to find, Hologro, no question. Okay, how many of you am I meant to kill, Mr. Morgul Warrior? 12. Oh, look at that. I'm narrowing in on Orc Slayer, indeed. Okay. 1 of 12. Oh, there he is again. I've already killed you once. I don't need to kill you a second time. It would be kind of funny though if they had like defeat Krumab like 1 out of 4 or something. Or if I had to defeat him 4 times, that would be like frustrating, but like kind of funny. I mean, if they're gonna make him regen so quickly, they might as well. All right. Oh, look, a tent. So here's how real burglars do it, Mr. Morgul Warrior. First, I'm going to burn your tent. And then I'm going to sneak up on you. Oh, no. Sorry, I'm not clicked on the tent. I'm clicked on the orc over here. Oh, that was a pathetic little smoldering tent. I like the ones that give a nice whoosh of flame. Those are so much more satisfying. Okay. Tents, orcs, trolls, siege equipment, another tent. I gotta watch out for Krumab, though. He's gonna be sneaking up again. He must be lapping this water feature here. Yeah. Which means I don't want to fight those 2 trolls. Nor particularly this defiler. Okay, so I'm right next to presumably Krumab. That green one must be... No, that's Turgon. Okay, fine. Can I want to get out of Krumab's orbit here. Can I go up here? No? It would seem I could go this way, but do I have to go around? How do I escape the circuit of Krumab? I guess I have to go down this way and then bang a left. Alright. What do we have up here? We got some trolls over here. We've got a lonely warrior just hanging out by himself, waiting to be picked off by wandering burglars. We've got... what else do we have? Siege equipment. Oh, yes. I'm so used to running around these that I didn't even notice I could interact with this one. Will it blow up or just burn? Oh, yeah, the explosion. Uh-oh. I'm trapped in the rubble. That's not good. Are the trolls always going to come in groups? That was pretty efficient, Gryfflet. That was a nice combo. The backstab and then the stun. That worked out well. I think these guys are far enough apart. Here, wait, hang on a second. Let me just burn this tent while I'm here. Oh man, this little like binge of chaos and destruction in Harlond is kind of fun. Okay, Mr. Troll. I can't do the same exact plan, but I can try something similar. Yeah, it worked out reasonably well. Wait, Miley Holmes, I don't understand. Oh, I see. Okay, I see your question earlier on. If Gandalf wasn't sure about the One Ring, why didn't he ask Elrond? Okay, no. Miley, okay. Miley, let me... So I've answered... This is a question, of course, I've talked about before, but let me explain. Why doesn't Gandalf ask Elrond about the ring? When Gandalf suspects it's the One Ring, why doesn't he ask Gandalf? Or why doesn't he ask Elrond, rather? Okay. Everybody underestimates the thing, and this I really only myself fully realized recently in exploring the Lord of the Rings when we got through the when we were doing the Council of Elrond. Here's the number one thing that people underestimate. People think that this is an easy situation, right? Like a simple process of elimination. There are only so many rings of power. It's got to be one of them. It's obviously not one of the 9. It's obviously not one of the 3. So it's either one of the 7 or it's the 1. Gandalf says the 7 are accounted for. So what on earth takes him so long to figure out that it's the 1? And the thing that Gandalf makes clear in the Council of Elrond that I think a lot of readers underestimate, like seriously underestimate. Gandalf knew it was not the 1. He knew that it could not be the 1. Okay, that went less well. He knew it could not be the 1. We say, like, by process of elimination, he should have figured it out. Well, yeah, by process of elimination, he eliminated the One Ring because the fate of the One Ring was known with certainty, not guessing, not like hoping, but known. He was given information on this by Saruman. When Gandalf reports what Saruman had told the council, Saruman pushed all of his chips into the center of the table. He staked all of his credibility on that question, like on the when he said that he had studied the matter of the rings and that he knew, not just suspected, not just hoped, but that he knew. The wording even implies that he has some authority on this, like not just that he's not guessing. He knows that the ring has rolled down the river to the sea. And I think that he's even implying, Saruman is even implying in that moment, that he has received some kind of definitive word on this from the Valar themselves. Like, Ulmo came to me in a dream and told me the One Ring has rolled down the river to the sea. You needn't worry about it any longer, Saruman. Like that. That's the kind of assertion Saruman is making. And Saruman it's the mistake that people make is that we don't meet Saruman, or even really hear of him until we hear of the story of his treachery, right? So and I will add, especially people who come to the books from the films, associate Saruman from the beginning as an enemy and therefore untrustworthy. So it's easy, for us to look past it and say, like, well, Saruman says that, but he's obviously lying, right? Well, it's obvious to us that he's lying, but it is not at all obvious to any of them that he's lying. That one of the Astari, that Saruman himself, the leader of the council, would have turned to evil and be in secret alliance with Sauron is almost unthinkable. And there's no reason they have to suspect it. And the rings of the wiles of the enemy in general, and the rings of power in particular, are the particular study, the domain, the academic subject of Saruman. That's his job. That's what it means to be the White Wizard. So for Gandalf, when Gandalf finds the ring and a shadow falls on his heart, he does not know what he suspects. He knows he has eliminated the possibility that it could be the One Ring. He knows what happens to the One Ring. Again, by process of elimination, he's eliminated the One Ring. Somebody shooting me? Somebody is. Wow, he's pretty stealthy. He's all like covered in ash and standing in the shadows. Didn't see you at all, man. Good job. So his 12th orc was the most burglarious orc he had met all day. Okay, so what do I need? The 1 captain, 3 more engines, and 7 more tents. Okay. Anyway, so the comparison, and I'm forgetting who made it. Somebody in Exploring the Lord of the Rings made this comparison, and I think it's exactly correct. I think this is exactly the way to think about it. The situation when Gandalf sees Bilbo's ring and a shadow falls on his heart, he doesn't know what the problem is because he knows it can't be the One Ring. But his suspicions grow over the years. And he's wondering what it could be. The thing to the way to think about this, the comparison that's really helped me a lot in thinking about this. Imagine the following situation. Imagine you have a junior professor, smart, diligent, junior faculty member, whose department chair is not only in personal authority over him, being the department chair, but also the globally recognized expert in their particular academic subject, right? And the department chair / global expert has been, oh, look, it's Naradaga. I found you, or you found me. The global expert is so he's made like certain strong claims, right, based on his research, and is believed and renowned by everybody else around the entire world. Why wouldn't they? He is the expert, the recognized, established expert on this subject in the whole world. But you, the junior faculty member, find what you believe to be evidence, not only that the global expert and your boss is wrong, but that he's been falsifying his data. When you first uncover this, you are going to be doubtful. I mean, like, you're unlikely to be quick to conclude that that's true, right? And you're going to doubt yourself. You're going to doubt your own findings. I must be wrong. It can't be that, right? And then as more and more evidence comes across, you're going to, you're going to be more and more uneasy. The time will come when you will start actively seeking confirmation, right? When it becomes more than just an uncomfortable feeling and becomes an actual theory in your mind, right? This is happening, right? I think this might be real. There still might even be a time when you're unwilling, or reluctant at least, to admit it to yourself. But in that phase, even after you've admitted it to yourself and you've begun actively collecting data, you're going to wait to tell anyone about that until you have an ironclad case, until you can absolutely prove, not just suspect, not just say some data points in this direction, but until you are sure. You have to have a completely bulletproof case before you could possibly take this to anybody. Not just confront the department chair with it, but to take it to anybody. And the bulletproof case, of course, is when Gandalf finally throws the ring in the fire. And remember all the research he had to do in order to find out what the foolproof test was. Okay, no tents on the piers. Anyway, so this seems to be more or less the situation. And then keep in mind, when you have the information and you're sure that he is wrong, you've proven that he is wrong. If the department chair expert guy is somebody that he's your boss, you've worked with him for a really long time, you believe in him, or at least you are very reluctant to believe evil of him. Like, I mean, for him to be wrong about this claim would be shocking enough. For him to be falsifying data would be something you can barely even imagine. And the implications of it, like the fallout from it and everything, oh my goodness, like disaster. So even there, you continue hoping against hope that he's not actually crooked, that he's just mistaken. But you're suspicious enough that you don't confront him. But this is why Gandalf goes to Isengard. Why he doesn't consider Saruman unmasked until he actually, essentially confesses to Gandalf when he confronts him at Isengard. So, as I say, people simplify the situation with Gandalf's confirmation that the ring is the One Ring. He is not just figuring it out from scratch. I wonder what ring this is. Maybe it's one of the Great Rings. Well, by process of elimination, it's probably the one. He has positive information. Ooh, I'm done. That's it, right? Do I just hit leave instance? Can I wander out? Okay. I don't remember an instance that I had to click leave instance for when I'd completed it. That's weird. It's a little unusual. Anyway, so this is why he never asks Elrond about it. Also, yeah. So I mean, he doesn't talk about it with Elrond until very late in the game. Okay, let's see. What do we got? Here we go.
We can only
have
hope
done
that
much.
the Rohirrim will arrive.
Perhaps the
before it's
Rongil
too
even
late.
looks up to you. Well, I don't know about that. Hope I am here to greet him upon the docks of Harlond so that I may give him your regards. Okay. Thanks. Is that it? No, you still got another one. I can't see with your floaty name. Nope. Just the recurring ones. Okay. Excellent. So, that's it then? Back to Minas Tirith? Alright, dailies are done. Southern Pelennor quest's done. Alright, we have narrowed in on the city itself. Of course, I've already entered the city and cheerfully begun questing there some time ago, but then got sent out here. But I assume that means these far-flung quests are done, and I can now focus on the ones in the city. So the one side quest that I've been carrying around in the city is confronting opportunistic thieves and giving them giving them a piece of my mind. And then there's oh wait, there's more from Ingold? Oh, because my rep is higher. Okay, fine. I will go to the North Gate and complete those, because completionist. All right, I'll check it out. So wait, there's the opportunists in the city, and then I've got, of course, going up the gates. Still the epic quest, trying to lead me up through the gates. All right, but we're getting there. We are getting there. I'm looking at my time too. I don't know that I'll have time to do another instance like that with like 8 quests in it or whatever. So yes, I do think that it is. I also think that I don't know how likely it is that anyone in Rivendell is going to have more expertise, even more personal experience of the Rings of Power than Saruman does. I mean, he doesn't have any personal experience with the Rings of Power. But does Elrond know what all of the rings look like? Does Elrond even know? Has Elrond seen the One Ring? I'm not sure. I mean, forget the movie. Because the movie scene did not happen with Isildur at the Cracks of Doom. That was Peter Jackson added drama, which works, but that didn't happen. Elrond says that he urged Isildur to destroy the ring. But he... did he see it? He might have possibly seen it when Isildur looted the corpse. Like, it's possible. Because Elrond was there. So when Isildur takes the ring off of Sauron's corpse, it's possible that Elrond sees it then. But I can't imagine Isildur's waving it around. Again, the notion that's in the film that he's wearing it openly on the outside of his armor as a chain around his neck seems to me, again, it makes for a lovely image, right? Cinematographically, it works excellently, but I am in no way convinced that that is true. In fact, I am deeply skeptical. I am deeply skeptical that Isildur would ever have done that. It is clear that the ring had begun to influence him, which means he would have been feeling like possessiveness, right? The attraction of the ring. And so I think he would have been keeping it inside his armor, both to protect it and to conceal it. I don't think he would be showing it to people. I think he seems clearly to be already to that stage. Also, the line that Elrond says when he says that, what is it, in the Council of Elrond, few heeded what Isildur did, suggests to me that his taking of the ring was hardly a public spectacle. Right, so these are the dailies. I didn't do these already, did I?
We can only hope that the
Right,
Rohirrim
okay, so this
will
is the
arrive
parallel
before it's
quest
too
over
late.
here. And then culling the
Is this your
tide
first time in
and
Minas
Orc.
Tirith? Shame you couldn't see it in better days. The enemies
Okay.
of men approach.
Right, so the culling the
Hope you
tides.
are prepared.
Did I do those already? Maybe I did. I think maybe I did. Yeah, I think I did those. Don't need to do them again. But right, I'll do the instance ones. These I definitely didn't
We
do.
can only hope that the Rohirrim will arrive before it's too late.
Okay, plant banners.
When the time comes to fight,
Captains.
we'll be ready.
Okay. Oh, the light blue. That's right. I missed the light blue text.
The enemies of men approach.
Okay.
I hope you are prepared.
Remove hooks. Okay, so this is a
We can
defending
only
the wall
hope that the
quest.
Rohirrim will arrive before it's too
That'll be
late.
Kind of fun.
We can
Okay.
um, only hope that the
All right.
Rohirrim will
I-
arrive before it's too late.
Right. Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention to that. Okay, so now that my rep is up, I'll do these with Ingold, and then I'll get back to the city next time. Okay, I was running out of time anyway. I'm not gonna have time to do this today, but I will when I finish this instance. Then I'm done. Then I'm done with all of the outer defenses, and we'll spend the rest of my time in the city unless they send me out again, which they may. Okay, cool, awesome. All right. Anyway, I hope that helps about the finding of the ring. I know this is a stumbling block for many, but I do think that that's where the problem lies. The problem lies with not understanding that Gandalf had positive information that the One Ring is out of commission, that it was not going to be found. He thought he knew that as surely as he knew where the 9 are and, where the 3 were. So that's why he didn't suspect for a really, really long time. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I should be back next week. So I'm going to be in San Antonio, be flying to San Antonio on Friday, the 14th of April for TexMoot. I'll be down in San Antonio for TexMoot on tax day on April 15th. Delighted to have folks join me down there if you want to join us at TexMoot. You can look at all of our upcoming events. We do events all over the place. I'm doing a moot in Texas and San Antonio, in Toronto, Maple Moot, Portland, Oregon, Waterloo, Iowa, up here in New Hampshire, Derry, New Hampshire at Studio Lab. I am excited to be able to go around and see folks. So I will be missing my Gryfflet stream for TexMoot travel that week. But that's not for a couple of weeks, so I should be back next week again, and then Gryfflet will really roll up his sleeves and get to work inside the city. There are still many kings and stewards to be identified, so there is lots of work to be done. Thanks, everybody, and I will see you guys next week. Bye now. Thanks for joining in on my rambles around Standing Stone's brilliant digital adaptation of Tolkien's world. If you enjoy these adventures, please consider supporting this and other entertaining educational programming by donating at signumuniversity.org/fund.